Hello, folks. Welcome back to Star Metal Productions. We're here on our Thursday night show at its core, our Substratum Protocol actual play series. And this is a significant episode because it is presumably the last episode. This is our finale. Actually, not presumably at all, because it's the end of the year. We have no more weeks left that we can do this, so we're running this out. We're doing it.
Hey, Jack, before you continue, it seems the chat blog for Craig is currently on Tal's screen for his camera.
It is. Craig, what are you doing there? Oh, that's the problem. There we go.
I've been replaced by AI. No!
I mean,
begun already.
We all knew it was coming.
Yeah, it didn't take much in my case.
No. Just because you can't even joke about that anymore. We don't use any AI here on Star Metal Production at all. These are two wonderful, beautiful people, and I'm also here as well. No AI writing, no AI graphic design. I work on that myself. Anyway, I feel like I need just a floating asterisk with a caption like that anytime I use the letters A and I relatively close together.
Yep.
All right. Well, back into the swing of things then, folks. As I said, we are here for our At Its Core series finale. So if you are just joining us, you're joining us rather late, feel free to stick around and watch, but it's going to be an absolutely wild ride because things got crazy a long time ago, but we're going to be starting off with a room full of monsters huddled over a black hole. So I can't really give you much more context than that. Anyway, you can go back and watch our previous episodes on our YouTube and come hang out with us on our Blue Sky. Anyway, let's we'll see about a real quick introduction because it's too much to really recap everything you need to know. But let's throw this over to our scientists here for presumably their last introductions. Tal, hello.
Hello. So I am geochronologist Doctor. Thank you very much indeed, Dr. Undermoon, and I am, well, after our last encounter where we basically got all Stargate-esque and walked through blackness and had to try and find ourselves, I am currently the most perfect, most brilliant version of myself. My suit is clean. I look amazing. I'm slightly taller, if anything. I'm got my full mental acumen about me, and all of that means nothing because in the last minutes when these many different versions of ourselves were converging and me and my fellow doctor were trying to gain control.
Grapple for dominance over the fabric of reality.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I pulled up short and I was beaten to the punch.
What'd you get for not having retrograde legs?
Well, this is it. If only. If only I'd gone for that upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
So now we stand at the end of, well, who knows really at this point, but it is out of my hands completely. And so it's already dice rolls to make. It's all going to be down.
It's all going to be wonderful, Tal. It's going to be great. It's going to be wonderful.
Well, please. It's your turn now.
So, Dr. Sampson Daring, anthropologist, got into a lot of weird esoteric things before he became this grand spelunker that he is today. And apparently those type of experiences have affected his ability to engage with these otherworldly, let's say, phenomenon, and made him a little bit more open to them. Thankfully, for him anyway. We'll see if that's thankfully for Dr. Undermoon. But besides that, yeah, he's the same as he ever was. You know, banana head, a smile that goes from ear to ear, literally. Retrograde legs, standing at about probably what were we saying, like 6'5" right now with the retrograde legs, and yeah, crystalline forms growing out of his arms and legs in a form of a type of suit. You know, normal human things.
We've had two very different experiences of this adventure.
Indeed.
Ever so slightly.
Yes. But who is to say which is more pure?
Well,
you have both learned that the history of the world that you have known and studied and perhaps, even taught is very different, or at least far more expansive than you had previously had any reason to even imagine. So a quick recap. The world is splitting apart. That happened about a year and a half or so ago, but time has long since lost any meaning, both perspectually by our scientists being stuck in deep, dark caves for over a year, and simply the fabric of reality seems to, well, be a lot less tightly woven down here at the core.
To be fair, the closer you are to the core, the faster a day is, right?
I think that's how centrifugal motion works.
Yeah.
But you just crossed through black holes, space-time event horizon, so I mean, who knows what forces are at work here?
I know.
Perhaps some useful insight. We, in fact, will find out by the end of the show today, because we have the accumulation of all of our portal clues to for you guys to put together and create your final hypothesis, and we'll just see where it goes from there.
Please ignore the background noises at my end. That is just my dog having a roll.
Oh, puppers!
Never blame puppers for anything.
Yeah,
no.
This is even eldritch truth.
So the planet has been beginning to crack open, like an egg beginning to split. And a research station was created, and the Substratum Protocol activated. Our two foremost scientists in their field, with a whole group of other brilliant scientists back up at the Fracture Observatory, have expeditioned out with the goal of reaching the center of the Earth and whatever space-time anomaly that seemed to be indicated. Of course, this far down, and past several layers of weird alien technology, strange radiation, and physics-breaking something. Everything. They've not had contact with the Fracture Observatory for quite some time. May be possible to reach them in brief bursts, but these two have been cut off for quite some time. Having only gigantic cavern-sized crystalline entities to talk to, or radiation ghosts, or multi-armed aliens. And whatever Tal is. Or I should say Dr. Undermoon. I was making a joke.
Yeah.
I was not referencing Dr. Daring.
I mean, to be fair, at this point, Tal is the anomaly here.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair.
Yeah, Dr. Undermoon is the weird one.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yep.
So throughout this journey, they have traveled through a number of very strange, unique, and trying biomes. They were all very fun episodes and very fun expeditions to go through, and we will recap all of the portal clues and what they know shortly, because it will soon be time for the final hypothesis. But where we left off last time, our two intrepid scientists have made it through the completely pitch black, strange, temporally shifting event horizon down deep at the core. Passing through that, they found themselves on a precipice of very geometrical, shiny black rock. Looking around on the inside of this spherical event horizon, they could see jutting out at odd angles other versions of themselves from other space-time continuums, other realities, other timelines. Unrealized realities. Dr. Undermoon, being ever so confident in himself, to the point of ignoring and in fact detesting physical, observable truths around him, decided he was going to take it upon himself to erase all of the wrong things in this picture, leaving only himself and his comrade. A clarity, a single point to thrust forward with. In an interesting take, Dr. Daring had a very similar, if completely opposite, idea, having gone through his own transformation very physically and, in fact, very mentally and emotionally, transforming into one of those strange alien creatures they've seen. Elongated form, retrograde legs, multiple arms, a long, slicked back head. And I believe you also one of your eyes plated over with a bone plate like that, crystalline plate. Yeah. But as Dr. Daring looked around, he could identify that there were several other of these unrealized realities in which he and or his comrade Dr. Undermoon had undergone either the same or similar transformations, leaving their humanity behind. In whatever way he could glean from really just feeling those realities, feeling those differences, sensing them. There was a bit of a leg race and quite a bit of I suppose, existential grapple between our two scientists as they raced towards some completely pitch black sphere in the center of this event horizon. By the time Dr. Daring had reached the perimeter of this sphere, and I'm talking, I made a rather small gesture with my hands there, but we are still talking a sphere hundreds of kilometers in diameter. Or at least dozens. Time and space get a little wibbly wobbly when you're at the center of the Earth. Go figure. But by the time Dr. Daring managed to place a hand on that new barrier, or whatever it was, his will dominated over reality and his comrade. Many of those unrealized realities blinked out, leaving only those in which that transformation had taken hold. So we have several different versions of Dr. Daring and Dr. Undermoon who have undergone strange alien eldritch mutations. And as he reached for the barrier of that large anomaly, there was a flash. It immediately shrunk down to a much smaller form, and we are simply... the camera is going to pick up just as that flash dissipates. The darkness takes once again. Just a faint gray glow in the background. All of these figures, strange proportions, multiple arms, tendrils, horns, arms and legs bent in odd directions, faces nobody at the surface would recognize at the very least, are all now huddled around, hands on top, even overlapping this almost basketball-sized, apparently solid black hole.
I'm here. My dog's decided this is a tunnel and I go for a wee, but I am still listening.
All right. And a dog showed up. No.
Mhm. The great dog that holds the universe together
Yes.
metaphysically.
I
Yes.
mean, one of the big questions of this game is what is within the central portal down deep in the center of the earth, and apparently it's Tal's dog.
Mhm.
Yes, it is.
Mhm. Mhm.
Exactly what it is.
Anyway, with this brief scene of all of these monstrous forms huddled around this sphere, we're going to pick up with the portal clue that Dr. Daring, well, the sphere, this portal that is in some way, now that you have your hands on it, in some way sentient, in some way connected to you, to all of yous, to the planet itself.
The two Utes.
Yep. So, we know what the clue is. We need the question to answer. So, Dr. Daring, same question as always. You and I will roll a d6. You just need to tell me which digit you would like.
Singles, since I took doubles last time.
All right. So it's going to be a 40-something.
43.
A 43. This kind of was already answered just through the course of the narrative. So let's go again.
Okay.
Go ahead and give me another roll.
1.
Okay, a 21 this time. Okay. Fantastic segue from what I just said. This portal, you feel a sentience, you feel a connection to it. Perhaps not a kinship to it, perhaps not even a familiarity with it, but a connection in some way. And not just to yourself or all of Utes, but as I said, to the planet, to the life, people, beasts, trees, plants, perhaps even rocks, crystals, the soil, the magma coursing through the planet as you get ever deeper and deeper until it is just this one condensed singularity in which you now stand huddled around. Dr. Daring, this realization floods into your mind, and I need you to tell me what effect this portal has on the planet's biosphere. What is it doing? What is its directing?
What is it doing
functions?
currently, or what is it that I want it to do?
This is a sort of top-down canon declaration of
Gotcha.
the world. You will get your chance to further affect reality through gameplay, but this is what does the portal do?
I think it was directing the biosphere. It was directing it to become more stable, as well as making the flora and fauna more palatable for something to come.
Okay.
If you want further information, I would say that perhaps the reason why, if this is the final portal clue, the reason why things are going haywire is because humanity has gone too off course from the original project, and it was trying to do a restart.
Okay. I like that. So life on planet Earth seems to have been at least nudged in some way over millions and millions and millions and millions of years. Perhaps not towards exactly what it is today, but with little nudges towards something favorable to whatever lies beyond, for reasons we don't really know, because that wasn't exactly part of the question.
Mm-hmm.
No, go in the dumplings.
Well then, something to consider as we travel forward on our last leg of this journey. So we need a travel roll now, and this is where travel is going to get a lot more esoteric and wibbly wobbly. You are no longer trudging through caverns, rappelling down rock walls, wading through muck and heated lakes and toxic sludge. You realize you have been, the two of you, the two of all of yous, have been invited within, whatever within is. And then that invitation very quickly becomes a summons. And you find, perhaps not your bodies, though as we've seen in this space, your physical form may not even really be all that relevant anymore. But you find yourself being pulled into this sphere, and we will find out exactly what that means shortly, as soon as I find the correct page. Travel rolls. This is what we get for taking 3 months off. All right. So, whoever is leading this, and that will be quite a discussion. But between the two, whoever is leading this will need to roll dash plus a skill of your choice as you are drawn into the inner core.
I mean, you are in front.
It's true.
Well, at this time, all of you are all huddled around with your hands on this orb.
He got pulled and forced to put his hands on it.
Yeah. Once Dr. Daring touched that very large sphere, there was a flash, and then everyone instantaneously was around this with a hand on it.
Well, so then maybe this is his attempt to kind of wrestle back some kind of self-control then, in terms of heading forward. In that, okay, he's been forced into this, but if that's going to be the case, then it's going to be on his terms that he meets whatever's out there, rather than, being. I mean, they summoned. He doesn't really do summoned. If he's going to turn up, he's going to turn up in his way. If that's okay with my good colleague, of course.
Roll a d6.
All right,
roll a d6. Okay. Yeah, let's do it. Oh, nope. It's not me.
Nope. So, as they are being pulled into this summon, through sway and dash, I would like for Dr. Daring to coalesce the minds of the gathered, so that we are not a linked mind, but a one mind.
Ah. Okay. So you have distilled out only the realities that you deem correct, given your new perspective in everything, Dr. Daring. And now that everything's been properly sorted, it's now time to press it all together into one perfect one mind.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well,
yes. Do you have a concern, Doctor?
I have a slight concern that You're not going to pull me into this, are you?
No, you're not one of the perfect minds yet. So that comes later.
Oh, God.
I don't, this is all very, very about, asking for permission. And we all know, us, the colloquial us, know that you are not ready for such things yet. So no, you are here to watch as the perfect minds actually, to show you the true way of how to proceed.
Okay.
Very well.
Oh, stinging.
Now show me those two kings.
Yes. Let's see how well that goes for you, BI. If it follows the normal trend.
Yeah. I have these wonderful plans and the
So you have 7 of clubs.
Excuse me. Okay.
Not terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And an ace.
Okay.
Brilliant.
That's a free card.
Got this.
Okay,
You got this.
I'm going to sacrifice 2 cards to get a +1.
Okay.
And I have 2d6.
Oh, done it.
I love it. I rolled a 4 for everyone. Which equals
you could still fluff this.
Yeah.
How can I still fluff this?
Because you got +1.
Yeah.
And then you could still roll a 1. And you'd be under the 7.
What do you mean? I already rolled the 2.
Oh no! Oh, it's 2. Oh, I thought we only rolled
Yeah.
the 4. Oh,
No, I rolled 2. Yeah, I rolled 2. It's 5 altogether.
Oh dear!
I just can't win in this game.
So, one thing I can offer you here, BI. I saw you already took the ace, but before that, you did have 1 card. It's probably a fairly small card.
Very small.
I realize.
The second smallest in the deck, actually.
Oh, great. Wonderful. Okay. Well, perhaps this isn't much of an offer then. But there is the potential for a flashback.
Yeah, there is a potential. Yeah, and unless it's a 2 or an ace. Let's see. How many 2s or aces already? That's 1 ace, 1 2.
Nope.
Got quite a few cards to
It's not
through.
bad odds.
Aces or 2s in here. I only see 1 ace. Oh no, 1 2.
That's all.
Okay, so there's 3.
Okay.
There's 3 aces and 2 2s in there. How many cards are left in the deck?
I'm not sure, and I don't know how to check that.
It's 50-50, let's say.
Yeah, so between the 3 aces in discard and the 1 on the table, that's all of the aces.
Ooh.
Yeah. And I think there were 2.
And if you match it, does it count or no?
I'll say sure. Why not? If you can manage to find the other 2 2s left in these cards, I'll give it to you.
And what would that give me? Just give me advantage, right?
It would give you advantage, yeah. So you would re-roll one of those 2s.
We all know it's going to give me we all know it's going to give me another 2 or a 1.
I mean, I was in the same position throughout our Pokemon series. I was rolling so atrocious.
Yeah, no, we're just going to roll it.
You can check out on YouTube as well, by the way.
Yes.
True.
Okay, so you're just going to stick with what you got.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead and claim that ace once again. I'll take that 7.
Mm-hmm.
So this isn't too bad.
It's travel, so it's not the worst one to kind of be under on.
Yes. This is still, of course, a partial success, and okay travel ensues, whatever that means. So let's do the mechanics part of this first. Each of you will clear 1 stress, if you have it.
Yep, sure.
Mm-hmm.
Not 1 stress now. Or 2.
And then a complication will arise. So, I'm kind of gonna condense all of this in. Hal, would you please roll for me a d12?
Yes, of course.
What I get for winning.
7.
This is what I get for winning the last roll. I got my one win for the whole game.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, maybe I'll get another one.
Well,
There, I think.
strangely enough, even though this is the first time I've rolled on this particular table, this is the roll you just made there, Tal, is basically exactly what we've been doing. So roll again for me.
Okay. D12.
Another 7.
Oh.
Please try again. If you get another 7, you win the jackpot.
12. There we go.
12. All right.
12. Oh, is that good or bad?
I mean, in this game, good and bad is extremely relative. Subjective. So, Dr. Daring, you did succeed in what you were attempting there to merge all of your selves into that one perfect one mind. Except it's perhaps not as perfect as you were hoping for. There is that shudder in reality. The screen, it doesn't exactly flash white or even fade to black. It just shifts and distorts until you really can't make out what you are seeing, what we are seeing, the audience, speaking directorially here. But when it does converge, we see that there is only a single Dr. Daring and a single Dr. Undermoon. Dr. Daring, you are aware that what you were hoping for was mostly successful. You don't have that almost omniscient omnipresence that you might expect from merging the consciousness from multiple realities. Instead, you are aware of the presence of all of these other selves within you. I don't want this to turn into any sort of multi-personality disorder thing, specifically. But whether you can call on it for a useful purpose or whether it is a hindrance or complication or confusion later on, you can now see things from many different perspectives. You know, if you could only get them to overlap perfectly, something would click. And you would reach that one perfect one mind that has the collective knowledge and collective perception of enough realities to really become a directing intelligence that you couldn't even really comprehend of before. Perhaps, now that you think of it, this sentience you are connecting with at one point may have been something similar. Or perhaps it is that perfect final one mind of the universe, of the multiverse, of reality. But this is all speculation that runs through your multiple minds. Dr. Undermoon, this, like everything else you have experienced on this journey, is probably very concerning.
Mm-hmm.
You were not merged exactly. Not in the same way that your colleague here has managed to do with himself.
Imagine only having one mind. Weirdo.
The Venn diagram of all of the Dr. Darings mostly overlaps. If we were to visualize it for Dr. Undermoon, it would be the singular Dr. Undermoon we know.
And love.
I paused for it and then reconsidered. No, I'm mean. There is that one singular, as he put forward in the introduction today, that one singular, as perfect as can be, Dr. Undermoon. But, my good doctor, you are now aware that there are others knocking on the door to your mind.
Mhm.
Many others. Many doors. It's concerning, confusing, and probably quite dizzying. But you are yourself. You know you can open that door if you want. You know that door could be kicked in if it grows strong enough. But you are yourself. And now that there are, for most intents and purposes, 1, 2, 3 singular near perfect minds, or at least aligned minds, your consciousness is drawn into that sphere. Visually, it almost looks like that black orb once again loses some of its opacity and expands rapidly around you. And you find yourself floating now, standing on nothingness, I should say, rather. But where it was darkness before, you now see the cosmos, the night sky. But it's not the night sky that you may have looked up at nighttime. You don't see that telltale streak of the arm, one of the arms, the Milky Way. You don't see the constellations you may be familiar with wherever you were in the world at whatever time. You are somewhere out in space, but neither of you are astrologists, work for NASA or anything. We have an anthropologist and a geochronologist. But around you, you see a number of floating orbs glowing this light, dull, well, some of them are light, dull blue, other are light, dull red, yellows, greens. They feel vast to you, which is a crazy thing to consider when you are floating in space looking at stars and galaxies out in the distance. Massive, massive things that are just little pinpricks of light in the darkness because you are so far away. These orbs around you, you know them to be even more massive than those, more massive than the nearby stars, more massive than the nearby galaxies, more massive than the galactic clusters that you may have a passing familiarity with throughout your studies and professional careers. Upon further investigation, upon further focus in this realm that seems to be mostly mental, you realize these floating, dull-colored orbs are entire other universes. These are... Well, that is an interesting question. One I think that pops into Dr. Undermoon's singular consciousness, and one that is rattled around and thrown back and forth within the calamitous mind of Dr. Undermoon. Are these floating universes the different realities? Or are these different universes in a pile of marbles on the ground before the concept of other realities, other timelines even takes course? and separates them out even further, infinitely. So we have these spheres, and there's many of them, slowly drifting. They're not remaining static. They're not sure if they have any sort of pattern, and in fact, you lose track of some and find more of them as brief time goes on. But just out into the distance, in space, if this is space, whatever this is, up, down, left, right, directions are entirely relative and don't make much sense without even a gravity well to orient yourself to. But despite all of that, you see floating out in the distance what looks to be a series of rings. That sort of, I believe it is one of the original biblical angels, the multiple wheels that are sort of converging around each other. You see, they're all shifting, turning in different directions. A marvel of technology, a gateway somewhere, somewhen, somehow. When you're looking out at the cosmos, seeing different universes, and considering the fact that you have seen and affected some sort of multiverse, multi-time space continuum, on the other side of that door, what could that even possibly be if you are now being forced to comprehend just the enormity of all of this? But you know it to be a massive structure. And the portal's power, whatever that is, creates a feeling of awe and amazement that you simply have no words for. I've used many words to paint the scene. What would you like to do?
So this ring structure is sentient. We have that feeling, correct?
You get the feeling you are now within the sentience.
Okay. So is this ring like another thing within the sentience or the sentience itself?
Most likely the former.
Something within the sentience.
Something within or underneath of or embraced by the sentient
Gotcha.
you detect.
So when I look for Dr. Undermoon, what am I seeing him?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, you would be seeing
Absolutely.
the idealized Dr. Undermoon.
Just floating in the expanse.
Yeah, Tal, I will leave that to you, how you would like to be represented in this world of imagination.
Because he's fighting off these potential invading hostile minds. Again, he relies back on who he is. And so everything's grounded into who he is. And that means his physical external form has to be who he is, who he's always been. And so there is no change to what he looks like. It is all grounded in what he knows. And that is, he is Dr. Sabastian Undermoon. First, foremost, chronologist, and now facing decisions which are going to affect the entire world, universes, But in his mind, there is nobody better to tackle this. Because he is right now, he is the pinnacle human.
Yes. Yes, I suppose you are, Dr. Undermoon. Or should I say, Dr. Narcissus. But
Yes.
the Dr. Undermoon that you are and always has been, would that include your suit?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Yep. It's it's almost like a line he's got to follow through. It's about holding on to reality in his mind.
Gotcha.
And so the reality of the situation is whatever's going on around us, he is a man, he's in his trustworthy suit, and he's here to, to bring a clinical mind to the situation that is not clouded by this, fanciful reality stuff which his colleagues clearly absorbed in.
Slightly.
Indeed.
Well, Tal, do you wish to try something before I do?
That's a really good question.
We fought for the last one. I'm letting you take this one if you want it. It's not because I,
Okay.
failed once.
So I think he at this point, it's all about drawing upon his knowledge of everything he's learned. Is there anything within his past books, teachings, learnings, which gives him any type of understanding as to what he might be seeing in front of him? So whether or not there are fables about it, so it might be that we've seen this, this thing appear in glyphs from billions of, however many millions of years ago, or in, subtle text the Greeks might have written.
So,
is there any lore anywhere in what he studied that might come to him at this point so that he can at least get an understanding? Has it been present in our reality throughout our history?
So,
I guess that's what he wants to try and understand.
Right. Good reminder, because this game does play very differently to games that we have played before. Remember, I don't know anything more than you do. This is a very player action-oriented game. So I think the questions you're asking would make a lot of sense either as a flashback to give you advantage or disadvantage when you choose to take action to do something, or you could... I mean, the Fracture Observatory is still a mechanic in the
yes.
game, even though you're floating out in the multiverse somewhere. But that would allow you to ask a question to me and get a canon answer.
Yes, I like that. And I kind of like the idea that because everything's a bit, off kilter, shall we say, it wouldn't necessarily be, they won't necessarily get a radio message. What they might get is a ghostly, almost transmission of him in mission control, asking them a question.
Okay.
Or there is a universe of which Dr. Undermoon is still in mission control. And since Dr. Undermoon has access to the multiverses as a whole, gets the answer to his question from the Dr. Undermoon who was researching it at mission control.
Yeah, I like that.
A very interesting concept. I like that indeed.
Yeah, do that. Let's do that.
So, Tal, what is the specific, like, one sentence question you would like to ask
Okay.
the Fracture Observatory?
So I would like to say, here is a mirror image of what we can see. Does it appear in our historical writings?
Okay. I will attempt to work with that. So this is a flip-off between myself and you. So you will offer up a card,
Okay.
and then I will flip.
I mean, it's go big or go home, isn't it? Really, at this point.
Unless you want to save cards for any future rolls.
I know, but
we got a king.
I feel I mean, I've got basically I've got a couple of choices. I mean, mind you saying that, do I take the risk on an 8?
If he flips that too, I'm flipping my table.
I know.
Oh, no. And now you've spoken it into the universe.
Yep.
That's the problem. Is what? So it's the king or an 8.
Just do it. Just do the king.
Yeah. Do the king.
We all know it's going to be the 2. We all know how this game likes to kill me.
Ooh.
Oh, well then, it's a good thing I didn't do the flip off. Well, it's a good thing you did the king.
Whoa.
I didn't want to speak it into the universe, but I got that feeling. Okay. All right. Hold on, folks.
So that's 2 kings. Whew. Okay.
I think you should get some extra for beating the king. I think if you flip the king and get a king, I think you should get something extra for that, personally.
You know, it's like lasers and feelings. You get your exact number, you got laser feelings. Okay.
Damn.
Yeah, I'm not going to be too terribly bothered as to what the game rules say about ties. I think that is.
I think ties should go to the player.
Yeah,
especially if it's this. Like, how do you beat a king if you only have kings? What are you going to beat it with?
Yeah, you can't go any higher than that. Okay. Well, I mean, it's kind of a shame to, I don't want to say waste it, but to use it on this question.
Yeah.
Because Jack does not have an encyclopedic knowledge of all of our historical texts. So
okay, so I guess let's narrow it down a bit and say, what if we're talking about the first kind of language that's recorded within our history then?
Okay.
And let's kind of narrow it down to that, because
so
I guess the thought process is, would it be there when language was created? Was this thing spoken of?
So perhaps I can contextualize a little more. What is the action you are hoping to get to with whatever knowledge you are seeking?
So really, what I'm trying to understand is what we're seeing like a big secret that no one has ever come across or knows anything about, or has it some way imprinted itself within our world so that we are aware of it? Maybe not exactly what it is, but
yeah. So I'm going to answer the question and then leave the 10s on the table, just because I don't want to keep asking you the same thing over and over, because I don't want it to sound like either of us are getting cross. I mean, throughout history, and I'm only using what I know from my own studies and watching way too much Alien Astronauts, or whatever that show is called. Alien Astronaut Theorists Say Yes. But yeah, throughout history, there's always been the stories of visitors from the future or the past or other timelines. There's been concepts of artificial intelligence, be they robotic or brought to life by the gods, trees that are brought up to sentience, uplifted. Um, I believe, though I don't remember the culture or the exact tale, and it might be from something entirely fictional like Stargate, but I feel like there is a story from somewhere about like a reflecting pool that was used as like a window to other realities or something like that. I could just be pulling that out of my ass. But this is you do know
Well,
and
to be fair, there is Mimir's well that
Mm.
was able to have you were able to divine, you were able to ask questions and divine the answers from. So
yeah, so there, you get the sense from the collective other undermoons out there back in the fracture observatories that yeah, there's a lot of historical and mythological tangentially related things to something like this.
Excellent.
Um,
Excellent.
so I hope that helps answer your question.
No,
What I'm
absolutely.
trying to get to
It does.
is that everything we do in this game should be action. It's not what do I know. It's I am taking
Yeah,
this
yeah, yeah.
action. Please
Yeah.
contextualize that for me.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess the action off of the back of that is he wants this, whatever this is. I'm trying to think of the right way of kind of putting this. It's he wants this thing to know that he is aware that in some way it has been trying to communicate with us, whether that's subtly, whether or not that's, just by letting us know its presence is there.
Okay. Well, it has done that. The both of you do recognize it as sentient and feel a connection to it. So,
But I guess that's information transferred back from the observatory, isn't it? Is that it's basically my suspicions were we have seen this in our history, and they fact back going, yes, we have seen this in our history. We know of it as we understand it exists.
well, vaguely and tangentially and theoretically.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so it is not outside the realm of plausibility that this exists, but when you're floating in open space surrounded by multiple different universes, the question of plausibility kind of goes out the window. In an infinite reality multiscape, at some point, everything is plausible.
Absolutely. But I think it's from his point of view, again, it's something for him to hold on to, because in our reality, he is confident that this exists.
Okay. I will simply keep these two tens in mind and perhaps offer you something extra or advantage or something
Cool.
later on. So,
yeah, I think he's kind of layering his understanding of things at the moment.
Yeah. Well, with a little bit more understanding of what I guess is going on, what would either of you two like to do?
I'm ready to do something if you got nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
We can see that devilish smirk. The audience cannot.
So,
yeah, go for it.
what I wish to do is once I hear Dr. Undermoon whispering to another version of himself behind him, basically, Dr. Daring is going to attempt, after taking a breath, and with a possibly, I think, no, that's not going to work. Fuck. How would one do this? Oh, I hate that my make is so bad, but I'm gonna still do it. Dr. Daring, being the unifier that he has always wanted to be, being the one who just wants to bring everyone together, wishes to make these multiverses a little bit more connected, as it were. It is time for the all to become one in more than one way.
Okay.
And he is reaching out to the sentience and attempting to connect with it to make this possible.
Okay. Let me take a quick note.
Hmm.
Okay. Before we get to this roll, I would like you to make a different roll to start. A
Okay.
12, in fact.
6.
Okay. Kind of. This I think is the third time I've had to say this episode, but we're kind of already doing that result. So go ahead and roll another d12.
8.
An 8. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think so. I think the both of you are reaching out to this intelligence that is around you. One for information and context and clarity, and the other a greeting, or a proposition, or perhaps even a demand. But that orb, that swirling series of rotating rings around each other, instantaneously it is far away, and then instantaneously it is right up next to the both of you, in front of the both of you. Many more of those universe spheres popping up around yourselves. One of the rings lights up this sort of circuitry pattern interspersed with what could potentially be considered some type of runes that at least Dr. Daring has some familiarity of, but perhaps cannot fully comprehend, read, understand. But one of them, that pattern begins to glow red. Another one, blue, green, white, purple, orange, yellow. More rings than you remember there being. From moment to moment, you blink and you're sure there's only 4 of them. A cross pattern and then like an X pattern, overlapping and rotating around each other. But as you focus on one, at least one of the other ones you are not focusing on changes to a different color, a different orientation, in their rotation. And then pulling itself out of this portal, you see immense, powerful entities. This first one looks almost like a star taking the shape of some sort of vaguely humanoid creature. Magma and plasma and fire, rock in some spaces, crystals in others, pulls out of this, its eyes glowing bright. Other ones of similar make pull themselves out, some with bodies of ice, or earth, or water. Plant-like being. A being that looks like clouds. A being that the shape, perhaps the least humanoid of all of them, though you recognize as an entity in similar composition to an aurora. And you know, more things are emerging from this portal than you can even really comprehend, contextualize. How do you see an entity made out of radio waves? How do you see an entity made out of time, or moments, or promises, feelings? You see how you previously, at least, defined reality being broken down into either one connected sentience with multiple forms or a multitude, a council of elemental truths emerging from this portal. And Dr. Daring, you're trying to smash everything together. Make it one.
I care not for your counsel. I care only for unity.
This is such a bad idea.
What, going up against the very forces that make up the universe in conscious and sentient form? Why would you think such a thing?
This game gets wild. I didn't plan any of this. I'm just going off the charts here, guys. I had vague ideas and signposts along the way. We could talk about that during an after show or something. Contamination detected. Anomalies must be contained, studied, archived, purged if necessary.
Did he say purged?
The grand experiment is incomplete. Variables are not unified.
Ah. I have a solution for that.
Nope.
You don't get the sense that these things are even really talking to you, addressing you. They're simply, you are made aware of them. Please, go on.
Dr. Daring is going to turn to Dr. Undermoon. Yeah.
No, this is a world of consciousness and thought. You do just like it's just a game about to crash. Avatar just
T-posing.
Yeah.
Well, Doctor, I believe now's the time for us to coalesce our meaning.
And by that you mean
By that I mean that we, up until this point, have been working together quite well. But in the last few moments, I've noticed a bit of conflict that I think at this point in our existence would be detrimental to our continued mission parameters.
Sorry, I don't. Our continued existence would be detrimental to the mission parameters. But if we no longer exist, how are we supposed to save the world? I'm not very clear on how we're going to achieve that if we no longer exist.
Oh, I think you misinterpreted me. My apologies. We would still exist. As we.
Oh. You're talking about some kind of grand shared consciousness that is just one.
Considering what we are up against, I think we are at a point of which this having two minds at odds would be a problem.
But how do we... That's not very scientific, though, is it? Because you have an idea as a scientist and you test it, and then you get your peers to review it because you can't know everything. You need external viewpoints to challenge you in your thinking. Otherwise, you're just a dictator deciding what is and isn't true. That's not how science works.
Well, and the very non-human Dr. Daring will look around with a smirk on his face and go, if you are able to procure any scientific journals or peers in this very moment to assist us, I would be very keen on seeing their mathematical formulas on explaining about what is going on right now. Or perhaps, and this is where Dr. Daring's smirk becomes a little bit condescending, perhaps you would like to test the rocks that are flowing around us right now about how old they are.
What's become of you? You're a scientist, man. Surely that is your first and foremost belief.
Dr. Daring will cross his arms and go, fine, do your science. Let's see how far that gets us.
I have theories that they need to be explored.
I await your prognosis.
The variable
And you're not going
is
to
harmonious.
try anything?
Well, you said you wanted to do science. I'm waiting for you to do the science. Go ahead. I'm sure we have all the time of an eternity to try to figure out the exact hypothesis testing and theories that might be applicable in this place of pure sentient laws of physics.
I don't know who you've become.
I am just stating pragmatically, there's no other course of action to take. I'm open to suggestions, dear doctor, but I am not going to stand around, well, float around, I suppose, and just, twiddle my thumbs as you pull out your, carbon dating and try to figure out exactly how long we have until these things decide to wipe us from existence, or perhaps just bound us into an eternity, into some sort of extraplanar cage.
Disappointed in you. Disappointed that you've strayed so far from our truths. You don't seek to understand this. You want to become this.
What is more understanding than becoming?
And lose yourself in it? How will you know?
I think at this point,
Is your goal still to save our world?
Doctor, we're talking about the saving of reality itself, not just the world.
And how do you propose to do this? If you were throwing away science and theories and testing and experimenting, your plan is to what? To absorb it all and make it all one?
In a matter of speaking, I would have worded it a bit differently. But again, dear doctor, I await your scientific hypothesis and what do you expect to experiment on in this moment? Go ahead.
I do not think that you are thinking clearly, my friend.
I am giving you the floor. My dear doctor, my dear peer, my friend. You have entire reality before you, the sentient beings that may or may not even just control everything around us, standing here right now, threatening to do whatever they wish to do with us. Go ahead. I'm not stopping you.
There is a simple answer to this. That none of this is actually real. It is thought, it is imagination, it is the dreams of something we were never meant to see. But I know what is real. The wind on my face when I walk down London's central streets. The smells, the tastes, the ability to worry about loved ones and to be sick, to be happy, to be whatever I choose to be. That is reality. You said earlier on that empathy is a failing. Then why do we have it? I cannot conjecture this desire for everything to be one. What? One? In whose image, in whose decision makes those things? You? Will you decide what this one will be? We have one thing, and that is free will. I will not abandon that. Not for anything. And I don't think you would either.
Prove me wrong.
Streaming out from beyond the stars, from a point that was the singular atom at the tip of a needle, in not the blink of an eye, but extremely quickly, just a few seconds, you see a tiny dot grow a little larger, and a little larger, and a little bluer, and then the Earth, as you know it today, floats as if you are just in low orbit. You are now looking down at the planet from which you came. You can even see that crack dangerously wide at this point.
And here is my theory, my friend. This is what's real. And it is time for us to stand up and tell this entity that all these other things it is creating, producing, seeing, they are just dreams, thoughts. They have no place in our world. Now is the time to reject all this and say, this is our world. It is time for you to take your thoughts and return to wherever you came from and sleep once again, for our reality is what we fight for. I do
And
not
what
believe
if-
in any of these things. I reject them.
And what if the thoughts and dreams of a god are what make our home home? For, to be fair, Doc, the feelings of home are not but thoughts and dreams in and of themselves. The emotions that we feel place meaning on these things. And if you are to tell the one whose all these thoughts and feelings have come from before to go away, then where does that leave the thoughts and feelings that our world itself contains?
Exactly as they were before, because I believe ours is the one true reality. This experience is, I don't know, a breakdown, a psychosis, something where we have been infected with the thoughts and dreams of a being beyond our understanding. But we have to understand it is our reality that is being affected. And we have to fight for it. I reject it. I reject its ideas that our world is anything other than it has always been. Ours. To shepherd, to change, to develop. We are not
The
at the
equation is
whim.
not in balance.
So, we're at an
I will-
impasse, Doctor.
Mhm.
We have you who wishes to tell what I would suggest to be the fabric reality to fuck off. I I am suggesting that if you wish to do battle against the thing that is all things, it is better to do it with all the things at our side.
Agree, my friend. I think this is the moment to be human.
what if
Inherent
the humans are-
uncertainty would contaminate results.
So, do you wish us and our world to face this alone? Or my idea, which is to bring all of the realities closer together so that we can have and bend this thing to our will? Because that's what you're suggesting already. I'm merely suggesting that we have all of the realities do so rather than just you.
I am suggesting rejection. You are suggesting domination. Those are
Yeah.
two very different things. I say, I am who I have always been. That is a man of science. And today, I will indeed stare into whatever this thing's face is, if it even has one, and say, no, I reject you.
Seems we're at another impasse, dear Jack.
Indeed. Absolutely. Jesus Christ.
Well,
Oh.
while you two have been
Oh.
debating with each other, those entities have been discussing in the background. The things I've said, overlapping your own speech, which you may or may not have picked up on, which the audience may or may not have picked up on, purposely stated in interruption or in addition to what you were saying, because they indeed are not addressing you. I think this would be a good time for our break, because it seems our scientists are indeed at an impasse as to how to even comprehend and deal with what is currently happening. So I think we're going to take a break. We're going to get up, do the human things we need to do, those of us who need to do them, and discuss a little bit, just a tad, as to what the actual finale of this game is, the goal, and how the mechanics of the last hypothesis works. So we're going to take 15 minutes or so. It might be a brief discussion, so my apologies if we run a little long, but I will try to keep an eye on it. But when we come back, I think we are going to pool our portal clues, try to answer some questions, formulate that last hypothesis, and finally enact whatever plan these two can come up with for their ultimate original objective, which was simply to stop what is happening to Earth. To close the portal, to mend the world. Whatever that means right now, especially considering they seem to be far and above beyond it. With all that in mind, we will see you shortly. Stay tuned, enjoy some tunes, enjoy some trailers. We'll be back in about 15 minutes. All right, folks, we are back for the grand finale of At Its Core, our Substratum Protocol series. Now, the premise of the game, for just a real quick recap to recontextualize things back from the break, was for our scientists to travel down to the center of the Earth and figure out why the planet is cracking in half. And now, they are floating out amongst the cosmos with a multitude of galaxies, not galaxies, universes, a multitude of universes, little marbles glowing against the night sky, swirling around them as cosmic elemental truth beings emerged from some sort of sentient portal. At the center of the fabric of reality, this game has taken a wild turn. And I'm sure we will have much to discuss, but I will again recontextualize. The main goal was simply to save Earth, to save humanity, to close or cut off or neutralize whatever influence this portal has on the planet, and to heal the wounds, whatever those may be, geologically, physically, emotionally. And we last left our, I don't know if we can really call them scientists anymore at this state. I mean, I suppose they still are, but they are much more, or at least much other. We're indeed at an impasse. Dr. Daring wanting to unify everything into the perfect possible existence. and Dr. Undermoon, rejecting the concept pretty much in its entirety. Who are we to play God? Who are we to make decisions? Who are we to even interact on this scale? Even if we could. I hope I'm not putting words in your mouth.
No. Absolutely.
But instead to let this be as it is, apparently, and return to the problem at hand, whatever that may be in the grand scheme, and how to go about it. Is there any more discussion or actions you would like to take before we lock in the final hypothesis?
I only had one thing that I wanted to kind of say to my colleague. Forgive me. I'm aware of my shortcomings, but I never asked you. Did you have family you left behind? Husband, wife, children?
Out of character, I think we had discussed that Dr. Daring was some part of some commune or some shit.
Yes.
I do indeed.
Some polyamorous commune.
I do indeed have in my character notes that you are part of a polyamorous commune with multiple wives and husbands.
Yes. So Dr.
Specifically,
Daring,
6 wives and 4 husbands.
oh, there you go. Oh, I didn't know. I didn't know I gave the number. Oh,
Yep.
shit.
Excellent.
GM notes.
The artist formerly known as Dr. Daring will cock his head and look at his compatriot. Says, I have many wives, many husbands. We have many children, although we do not choose who is the father or, there's hierarchy over the children. We don't claim them. They are ours.
You use the word I there. Not we. I. Please, whatever we do next, think of them, please, and what they mean to you. That's it. That's my last little.
Okay. I think we are ready.
So,
God.
we will see our 2 scientists floating across the backdrop of the planet Earth. The sun just peeking above the horizon, giving that little bit of a starburst to the scene. The 2 of you can look down upon this planet where you grew up, relive the lives that you have lived, either incredibly quickly or in piecemeal, looking down on the places you know, the people you care for, all the troubles and the hardships and the disagreements in the world, all the differences there are, and all the similarities. You can see the fracture, this enormous crack in the crust of the Earth, in the very face of the Earth, beginning to spiderweb out in smaller fissures across the planet, as you notice it getting wider and wider. And behind you, again, if direction means anything in this existence you find yourself, you see those other universes bobbing and flashing in and out of existence, and you are vaguely aware of all those cosmic truths out behind you somewhere. With all of this in mind, let us discuss our portal clues and formulate the last hypothesis. So, the first portal clue. At the very beginning of your journey, the fracture opening as you were descending, rappelling down into that pit. It seems so long ago at this point. You were reminded, or warned. This, I believe, is the that sort of gigantic crystal ball with the alien inside that you found. You were reminded, warned against the proliferation of war, strife, disagreement, discord. Whatever monument that was stood in defiance of all of that, but recognition of its existence. Further on in your journey, I believe this was down in the ancient ruins of a civilization where Dr. Daring was able to point out that there was a root language here. That not only a root language, but seemingly a root culture or mythology that seems to have fractured and created at least some of the other major cultures of prehistoric early human civilization. And that was your first glimpse that something here, whatever here is in the grand scheme of things, was here and active and presented as enlighteners. Down in the tunnels of liquefying crystal, unfortunately, you were not able to glean all that much information, inherent truth of whatever is happening here. Though I will remind you of the crystalline entity and any information or even feelings you got from that interaction. Continuing down, you paddled through across the superheated lake of red water attempting to pull you under. That is where, Dr. Daring, you discovered the existence of not double helix DNA, but triskelion DNA. And that whatever that directing intelligence, or at least imperative, was actively beginning to convert, enhance, perhaps, or at least simply change double helix DNA into triskelion DNA across the world. Again, probably talking in spans of hundreds of thousands, if not millions of years. I think it would be beneficial to break these down into two groups, so I'm not talking too long and you can work through these. These first 3 portal clues. Do you have anything to discuss about them? Would you in fact like me to, while we are discussing portal clues, consider some of the questions that the last hypothesis is intended to answer?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
So, if you have the book open, it's on page 34. The end begins.
Excellent.
So, consider these following questions when making your last hypothesis and formulating what action you would like to take in order to save the world, close the fracture, stop the influence of the portal, whatever that may be. 1. Who or what maintains the portal in its operation? You've had hints as to varying degrees of what authority may be operating it. Number 2, what effects do the portal's energies have on biology, physics, consciousness, reality, time, and/or space? We've looked at a lot of those things. What is happening to the Earth's core? That is probably a either much simpler or much more complex question, depending on how you would like to contextualize that. Where does the portal lead? Well, it looks like we found where the portal leads if you can understand exactly where you find yourselves. When will the portal become unstoppable? What's the point of no return? What happens after that point? And I will add to that, have we crossed that point? Or if not, how close are we? What is the portal doing, specifically? Again, some of the portal clues may help to contextualize that. And finally, why is the portal at the center of the Earth in the first place?
What page did you say this was on? Sorry.
Page 34.
So, I think for the first question, that the portal is probably some sort of, the portal itself is doing what we have described. It's somehow controlling or changing the world to a better purpose. And it is powered through its connection to the multiverse. There's some sort of like multiversal power generator that once you connect to that, it just makes this immense amount of power. So that's how it's continuing to get power from. Using the for lack of better terms, the static energy between worlds to power itself.
Well, yeah, because we've seen on our explanation, we've seen what looks to be not the same machines, but like the room that acted like a battery. So we've seen kind of the mechanics that maybe help, I don't know, either feed into the portal or generate the energy for the portal.
So I think that's the answer to the first question. What effects do the portal's energies have on biology, physics, consciousness, reality, time, and or space? Well, I think Dr. Daring is the answer to that question.
At least in part.
At least in part. Definitely trying to push the mechanics and chemistry of evolution to a certain point, to a goal, to something that was pre-planned.
Okay. Excuse me.
I think we already kind of answered number 3.
Yeah, that is a deceptively complex question, I think. The easy answer is, it does what it says on the tin. The whole reason why we're down here, what's happening at the center of the Earth, well, there's a portal and it's tearing the world apart. That is sort of the entire premise of the game.
But I guess there's a secondary question in that is the tear a secondary effect to the changes this being is trying to enact in the world, or is it needs the tear is part of the plan that it has?
Well, my hypothesis when we started the game was that the tear was because something went wrong, and that there's a restart protocol.
Okay.
Because, like, if we think about it, if the planet shakes itself apart, eventually it's going to come back together again, and all the building blocks of life are still going to be on those rocks. So it can just restart where it had left off, basically.
But what if the portal completely destroys the Earth and there's nothing left?
Well, my thought is that, I mean, we actually just found proteins on an asteroid recently. I don't know if you guys heard about this. Very exciting. But the idea is that all the building blocks of life would still exist on the
Okay. The kind of
the
fragments.
debris
Yeah.
that would then coalesce back, because it would turn into another asteroid field that would then turn back into a planet over 1 billion years or however long it takes. But and then all the building blocks of life would still be there to restart the protocol.
So are we saying the tear is potentially the restart process?
Yes.
Okay. So my kind of thoughts are maybe slightly different. I
Okay.
kind of see this as this entity, whatever it is clearly doesn't necessarily have control over all of this we're seeing at the moment. It's got the ability to create all these different worlds and realities and all those kinds of things. But the way I kind of see it is that because of that immensity of trying to maintain those kind of things, some of that's then started to leak through to what I consider our world, the prime world. And as it starts to leak out, it starts to change things in accordance with, what it kind of sees as the perfect kind of world. But obviously the crack is tearing it all apart.
The only reason why I say what I said was because we had already come into contact with those beings that basically said that this was some sort of experiment.
So let me also offer a third context that could be applied here. Speaking as a person outside of the game, your body, you have your own consciousness, your own free will. Without delving super deep into philosophy, you have your own body, you have your own free will. At least my personal belief is your body, your choice. You are the master of your form. But you also have a whole bunch of microorganisms inside you doing their own thing, maintaining the process, completely out of your control, for the most part, and completely unaware that they are even performing any sort of vital process. But if they stop, you die, or at least something very bad happens. So what scale are you actually working on? But that's quite a few philosophical questions to define here. Would you like me to continue going over the other portal clues?
Yes, please.
So, moving down. Unfortunately, in the no, there it is. The caustic pools. You made it. You made it to the caustic pools, wading through various acids. And that is where you found that mechanism that had something to do with the atmosphere of the planet, the magnetosphere, something. You're not entirely sure. But you drew forth from that machine a crystal ball which had a miniaturized sun suspended in the center. Yeah, I have it highlighted as if you succeeded the understanding of the portal clue. But some of these have just simply become truths of our story already.
Yeah.
But basically, you were able to make some sort of inference from the inner mechanisms of this structure that from this point and below, it was what you found here and beyond were structurally important and acted as the foundation for the world, and that probably means more than just the Earth's crust, but the actual foundation and structural support for the planet and the weather and the magnetosphere and all of the other spheres, and perhaps even humanity, the circle of life. Then, falling into the gravity inversion zone where you met all of the aliens, Dr. Daring was briefly confused, was briefly identified incorrectly by one of the aliens as an architect. And that is where you spoke with the custodian, and he pretty much affirmed that, yeah, you were now in the command center, let's say, of this grand experiment that is the planet, and they were maintaining the vital functions of the world, and that despite their maintenance, there were problems, hence the world cracking apart. With all of the information he presented, you got a sort of instinctual understanding, or were at least drawn to a process of thought, that one must undergo a process that has been ritualized in some way, removing what the architect would view as a bias, and what they would see as empathy. And I think that is specifically where we saw Dr. Daring lose a bit of that sliver of humanity that recently, just now, Dr. Undermoon had pointed out. Unfortunately, you weren't able to get much from the Alpha Particle Grove. You were harried by those radiation ghosts and had to make your way through a cavern of tunnels, continually assaulted by some sort of underground weird alien worm-like, toroid-like burrowing creature that deposited micro tears of space-time, which presented as extremely sharp monoglass. Couldn't really put that together, unfortunately, into anything contextually meaningful. But just before we got to the events of today, you found all of those converging realities. And that portal clue was, in fact, what the Dr. Daring, did in picking out just choice realities, and identifying that the portal is in some way sentient. What that sentience means, sapience, omnipresence, omnipotence, that may be beyond the scope, but it was intelligently directing the biosphere, at the very least, of the Earth. All of the spheres of the Earth and the atmosphere and life. It was stabilizing evolution, directing evolution towards a favorable end for whatever that end is. So that's the culmination of all of your portal clues. You can ask for context, but we are beyond, I suppose, new questions.
Yeah.
And then we can return to those questions that the game posits for forming the final hypothesis. But basically, the final hypothesis is simply you determining what the portal is, why it's there, at least in base terms, how it functions, so that you can figure out a way to negate the problem that it is causing. So you are free to discuss and again ask for context, answer these questions, or pose new ones. And when you are done, you don't need to present it as like the thesis statement of a high school essay in one straight line. But whenever you are done discussing all of this, you will need to tell me what action you are taking to solve the problem, which is the Earth is falling apart.
All right. So question 1, powered by the static energy of the multiverse. Question 2 is what effects do the portal's energies have on biology, physics, consciousness, reality? Directed evolution towards an unknown goal. 3, what is happening to Or's core? Did we agree on the restart protocol?
Yes.
Restart protocol. Started by unknown forces or reasons. Number 4. What is happening? Where does the portal lead? Well, it leads to the multiverse, where it is powered. Leads to multiverse, where it is powered. Number 5. When will the portal become unstoppable? What happens then? I'll let you answer this one, Tal. I answered a few of them.
So I guess it's so when it does become unstable, it is just going to destroy the Earth and start the reset process, isn't it? From our perspective, so it will end all life on Earth as we know it in order to start again effectively. A brand new, fresh experiment coming out of the entity's design, brain, whatever it is. I don't think we've got long. I think the instability of it is we're maybe in terms of our understanding, we know that if we don't do something very, very soon, then
Yeah,
that's it.
within the hour.
Yeah.
Number 6.
I think there is no specific kind of here's a long-term fix, or if we do this, it'll all be all right. It's got to be something decisive.
I think we already answered number 6 and 2 of the other questions. And number 7 is what? So number 6 was what is the portal doing specifically? We've already kind of answered that. Number 7, why is the portal at the center of our Earth? Well, I mean, I think that is pretty self-explanatory. You don't want it. You want it in the experiment, not outside the experiment. And if it's going to have a restart protocol, it's better to do it from within, more efficient. And it actually has to affect the life on the outside of it as well. So
yeah.
So I think that that question is pretty straightforward. 7 is efficiency. Okay. So we have answered all the questions, Jack. What is next?
Well, our hypothesis.
Yeah, you need to put all of that together and formulate what the problem is and what actions you're going to take to solve it.
So one thing I would postulate is that the portal does not actually need to exist in order for the Earth to continue.
The portal itself is a something that affects the earth around it, but it is in and of itself. If you remove it, the earth would continue as if it is not being affected by the portal, but it is still a planet doing its thing.
Yes, but I would suggest that without the portal, that they maybe that's not quite right. I was just thinking in terms of them controlling the the directed evolution. Do they need the portal and able to enact that, or but we're saying the portal is just a reset? So actually, they should be able to continue their experiment, but they don't want to because they're doing the reset.
I would suggest that the portal does both, and that the removal of the portal would stop any direction.
Yep, I agree.
So evolution would continue, but not without the goal in mind.
Yeah, it'd be natural rather than directed.
Correct.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay. Well, so the answer then becomes, for me, is that we basically need to disconnect the power supply. Now,
So another potential question is, what caused the portal to go wrong? What caused the Earth to start splitting apart?
I think it was conscious choice. So I think it was the consciousness saying, we don't like the directions it's taken. There are mistakes. Maybe one of the...
So, sometime in the new year, we might have to, if we can still remember, because there's a lot between then and now, have a retrospective talk. Because as I've been saying throughout the game, I don't know much more than what you guys do.
Yeah.
But I did have an idea of what the problem was. And I believe I have intimated it throughout the game. But this is also why I don't do riddle puzzles in D&D, because there's always multiple answers to a riddle that the GM thinks is entirely intuitive. Let me simply try to throw some bumpers on this, because I don't want this to get too vastly multi-cosmic existential, even though that's kind of where the game took us. I want to kind of ground us back down into the problem of Earth and its own doomsday. Don't think of the sort of the latter third of this game. We have found that the directing imperative that I've hinted at kept increasing in degrees of multitude and magnitude exponentially until you got to this Gurren Lagann state of throwing galaxies and stepping across universes and whatnot. I would sort of contextualize, there may be an ultimate direction that things are going, but I don't think whatever the aliens are doing inside the Earth is one thing. Whatever these cosmic fundamental truths are doing is entirely something else. Again, bacteria in your body are doing things for a beneficial purpose that you have no understanding or control over.
My suggestion would be that these entities that are on world are the, if not conscious, they are conscious of their state of being the bacteria within the body helping to
the processes along, but not necessarily knowledge. Like, they are pieces. How do I explain this? They are parts of the body of the thing.
Yeah.
So they are the bacteria of the consciousness that is outside, that the ultimate consciousness that we have engaged with. They are entities of that entity.
Sure. I think we're saying the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And if you are to remove said bacteria from that, the entity would no longer be having pieces of itself within our world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I originally, throughout this, I'll say I know the canon reason that the world is falling apart. But that you may also add to that, with this discussion here and the final hypothesis and the rules.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, what is the next part of this? We've answered the questions. We have basically said that we need to remove the battery, remove the connection to the multiverse to stop the portal.
How are we going to do that?
Yeah.
Honestly, the mechanisms within this are so. I think that in the way we have hypothesized this restart program, the restart in and of itself would also be a process. All of those mechanisms that we have come across as we have gone down into the depths of the earth are something that also has to be rebuilt over time within the coalescing of, let's say, the restart protocol occurred. The earth breaks apart, the pieces of earth start coming back together over time. Those processes have to take place during that restart process. If you remove those parts without the earth itself being destroyed, it cannot do it. It cannot do the process. Like, it can't let's imagine it like a human body. If you have you can't have musculature growing without a foundation of the skeleton. I don't know if that's how I'm using it as an anecdote. Whether or not this is actually how human biology works, I don't know.
None of us are
But
scientists.
so like you can't have that musculature grow without something to grow off of. So the battery that we found, the computational crystals that we found that directs all of it, these things can't grow in an already formed body. So if you destroy those things without the restart protocol finishing completely, it won't return.
Okay. So if you destroy the power source and you crumble the ruins and you break the big machine, the world would then fall apart, but it wouldn't come back to anything.
The world wouldn't fall apart because the restart protocol is stopped. But since the restart protocol stopped, if you destroy those other pieces, they can't regrow without the world being restarted totally.
So how are you stopping this restart protocol?
The unplug.
What are you unplugging?
The connection between the little
so
empty multiverse. Well,
that's it. Basically, we
nuke it.
Yeah, I think again we are pulling the picture out too far.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was going too deep.
focused.
We need to effectively. So we've got all these multiverses here. What if? I mean, you talked before about unifying, but what if we unified the multiverses and shut them down?
Okay.
So effectively, you cause all these multiple universes. You said about this idea of having one thing. Yeah, everything brought together. So were you talking about coalescing and bringing every single universe until there is only one universe left?
Mm-hmm.
So one reality. Sorry, I should be saying. What if then we were just left with our world and all the other realities bundled together? Okay, so just two objects left in this floating void, almost, if you like. And we then ceased those to all exist.
So you want to erase all of possibility and creation for the Earth. I'm not making any judgment. I'm just asking for clarification.
No, but I mean, that would work because then there is no, if there's no other realities, there is no power.
And there's no power.
Yeah.
So
there's no power to.
I hope I'm not
Sorry,
harping
Jack.
on this too much. I hope I'm not harping on this too much. But you are not even the bacteria in your body. You two scientists are singular atoms inside the mitochondria, inside the cell lining that makes up a multicellular organism that is a bacteria inside your gut. That is part of your abdomen, that is part of your body, that is part of your family, that is part of the population of the planet, that is one planet among quadra-frickin' in one galaxy of quadra-frickin' zillions of galaxies in a universe that may not be infinite and may not be the only one of it. You guys have, despite the malleability back in the event horizon, you guys have no control over anything out in the cosmic and all these universes. And I think the idea, I'd let the eye run with the idea that he thought it was plausible to smash all the realities together.
Right. Okay.
But you guys are not big enough to do that.
Yeah.
You guys, it's like the 5-year-old saying, "Hey, uncle, let me pick you up," and the uncle grabs a bar in the ceiling and pulls himself up a little bit. You guys have no ability to affect the grand cosmic design.
Yeah.
Your problem is
so
the
I
Earth.
think we need to go back to that separation. And how would we separate the portal from its power source?
Something to consider, since, again, I don't think you have any control of unplugging it from this side. Is there something you could unplug locally on the Earth? Something you can affect in the Earth?
I mean, the battery.
But what's the battery? The caustic pool layer?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that, and you also had the mirrors, which was running power as well, right? Where the beasties were running through the crystalline structures. Wasn't that a power conduit of some sort?
Beasties running through crystalline structures.
You remember that, Tal? Am I crazy? Am I remembering something from my own reality?
Yeah, our own mind theaters are different, and this series did have that multiple months of hiatus.
There was this one room we went into where there were these like crystalline stalactites and stalagmites. Then there was electricity running between them, and then there was this thing that would run through them and tunnel around them.
Oh, the big kind of like creature.
Yeah.
I think you are conflating two different zones.
Yes, I'm saying there was one zone with these things that had the electricity running through them, and then there was this beastie that was running around them as well.
In the caustic pools layer, there was the stalagmites and stalactites where the electricity was running through them. There were no creatures there. Down much further, down in the alpha particle grove. Once you dug underground, that was where that burrowing creature was leaving behind those panes of monoglass.
Monoglass, that's the term I was looking for.
Yeah, so these are two separate regions that I think you kind of overlapped a little.
Yeah, you're right. Yep.
Didn't we say that we saw what we thought were kind of cable-esque things linking this all up, didn't we?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's a question then. Could we possibly create either a short circuit in those cables somehow, if we cut enough of them off, or create an alternative feedback loop so that it feeds back upon itself and does something? Yeah.
So it sounds like I like the direction we're going here, and that's only my opinion. That's not me locking anything in as the GM. Like I said, we're kind of co-equal branches here.
I think that would be my.
So I think what you're saying is, so the caustic pools and that machine with all the cables and the electricity and the magnetosphere and all of that and the miniature sun, all of that was just above the gravity inversion zone, which was the command center for all the aliens. So basically, you want to break the power supply, supplying power to the command center, thereby shutting down any control or regulation of the portal, and hopefully that turns it off so that everything above that layer just simply continues on without any sort of oversight.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the only other option would be if we knew that if we know that there's a control layer there, that perhaps the less scientific method would be to go in and just smash up all the controls within there and just see whether or not that disrupts everything.
Earth declares war on the aliens at the center of the planet.
Yeah.
I mean, those might be our two options. So, I mean, I think
the power supply option is a better one. I think that if we are able to, here's an idea, drain the caustic pools into the other, basically draining the fluid, which is the battery, into the other zones, and therefore it no longer has a battery. It's like putting the battery acid into the machine itself. It's not going to run anymore. It's just going to break down.
Could we do that so that we channeled it and so that it would corrode through some of the wires we've seen as well?
Yes, that's what my thought was. Yes.
So we're effectively going to try and redistribute the acid so that it eats through the wires and drains out.
Yeah, and then the power just can't get anywhere.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
That would be our final answer.
Well, I think that's the. So let me. I know I don't want to bring us too long over our episode.
That's okay.
So I think that's a great first step. Destroying the mechanism and draining the battery, the acid down further into the center of the planet, down into the control center at the gravity inversion zone, maybe even all the way down to the alpha particle barrier. What is your plan? So I will say, if you succeed at doing this, why wouldn't the aliens in the command center simply just start repairs and fix it?
I would say that would take a long fucking time, and by then we would be able to somehow, we would at least stop this restart protocol for a mega amount of time, because again, this is something that probably took billions of years for it to coalesce in the actual, like, as the planet was coming together. It took a long time for it to actually build like this. So that would at least give humanity quite a long time, with the knowledge that this is happening, to then do something about it later.
Okay.
I mean, it also
potentially, if your car breaks down because your car battery exploded, you can just get a new battery or fix the battery, replace some parts around it. The car isn't, I guess, totaled. Depends on what mechanic and insurance you ask. But you can fix the battery or change out the battery, and the overall car is still fine. So,
well, this is like the car battery. Wait, to be fair, wait one second. This would be more akin to the car battery exploding.
Right. Okay.
And the entire engine is now coated in battery acid.
Right. Yeah.
So
the amount of time to rebuild an engine is shorter than the time to rebuild the entire car. So it wouldn't take billions of years. It might just take, several thousand. So it's a stopgap measure.
Several thousand. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I would say that, if the acid is kind of leaking through, it will be also replacing all the wiring as well, potentially.
Yeah, it would be
so
a massive
you're not just talking. Yeah, it would be a mass toss. And if we're closing down the portal, there is then the question of where do they get the resources from to fix these things?
Good point.
They might have to scavenge.
They might just be stranded.
And exactly.
Or they might travel upwards.
If they have the resources to do that, they don't have any power.
That sounds like that sounds like something the army needs to deal with, not scientists.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not shooting down any of these plans. I'm just offering, the other side.
Locking in that.
I like the idea. Okay. So instead of,
I mean, one of the things I would like to do is I as the guy said earlier on, I would like to tell this gigantic entity to fuck off before we leave to do this. There is a certain desire in me just to go.
Yeah, I don't think the fundamental truth of all of existence really even care that you're here.
No, not even slightly.
The fact that you made it here is enough for them to go, that's not working correctly. Do we do something about it? Or do we just scrap the whole project and start again? But again, we're not operating on that scale.
Yeah.
So it sounds like
personal thing.
Yeah, I like all the discussion we had and where we got to. So it sounds like instead of the unified armies of all the nations of Earth declaring war on the aliens at the center of the planet, you guys would like to sort of head a small surgical strike team to go in and place precision demolitions or whatever at key places at this battery level, for lack of a better term, to damage it significantly enough that it stops whatever is going on here for at least several thousand, tens of thousands, however long it gives you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, let's get us into the final mechanics then, and see how it all turns out. Would each of you be heading a specific action? Or I shouldn't ask that as a question. The game says you both are doing your own individual thing to ultimately reach that goal. What are each of you doing to destroy, as the plan stated?
I mean, I would say that, and I'd like to bring my specialty into this as a geochronologist. I would hope that I would have a good enough understanding of rock formations and structural side of things to go, okay, if we want it to, If we want it to hit here, and here, we have to drill here, and here. So I would like to lay out the plan as the most effective way for it to all leak down and start draining.
Okay. Okay.
I have a much different answer for this.
Yes, please.
As the anthropologist, I think that what Dr. Daring would attempt to do is it's a plan of two parts or a plan of two different goals that both work together. Dr. Daring would go to the aliens and basically try to convince them, listen, if this place goes, you go too. Now, that is something to make it so that they are distracted from what's going on, and also to convince them to join us in this endeavor. If they don't join us in the endeavor, they've been distracted long enough, they can't actually do anything about what we're doing up there. But if they do join us, well, they'll just help us out in the long run anyway.
Okay.
Nice.
I guess the question that needs to be stated but doesn't necessarily need to be answered is, do those aliens even have any understanding that it even goes to this scale? In their mind, at least presented by the custodian, they're only there to, look after the planet, make sure the planet is working correctly. They might not have any concept of what the portal is or where it goes or what it does. But
Yeah,
that
that would be part of the explanation. Like that would be part of the diplomatic talks. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I like both of those. So.
Look at us using our specialist skills.
Yeah.
I pull out my universal translator.
Yeah. Okay. So. For each piece of portal knowledge the group uses in the last hypothesis, and I think we've pretty much used all of them, the portal skill die increases 1 step. So you are at a D12. Let me just... So... War, strife, disagreement, discord.
And the warning thereof.
Yeah.
Well, that'd be Dr. Daring trying to do this diplomatic mission. Is that, if we all work together, this is going to go a lot better for everybody.
Well, not for your plan, but how does it relate to your hypothesis?
Oh,
so I would. Could it be that I mean, war and strife, you would see nations fighting against each other as the crack kind of, continues.
Yeah.
Whether that be for maybe resources or fresh water, those kinds of things. And we might be seeing that already, potentially, I guess.
Right.
Up on the surface. I don't know. That kind of maybe answers that a little bit.
Yes, but how does that conflict relate to what the portal is and what it's doing and how you plan to stop it? Not the plan, but how you plan to stop it.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. State that question one more time. State that question one more time.
The conflict that already exists in the world and would only escalate if the planet was falling apart. How does that conflict contribute to what the portal is and what it does, and ultimately how you plan to do something about it?
Well, and this may be going off on a tangent, but like the directed evolution could be using conflict as part of its work. That to increase conflict is to increase the amount of to increase conflict is to increase the amount of evolution occurring, and it uses conflict in that way to push humans to fight against one another to increase technological advance and evolution in and of itself. In terms of the how to turn that against itself, human beings are really good at conflict. We're going in and blowing something up. Like, we're good at this shit. And using the portal's ability to direct us to do conflict is now being used to try to shut it down.
An interesting take. That's that reminds me very much of Babylon 5's Shadows.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I believe that was more or less
Yep.
their entire premises.
Mm.
Absolutely.
Keep
Yep,
everybody
100%.
fighting, and eventually you'll find the ultimate organism.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think we got there. Might be a little bit of a reach, but I think we got there. So that's the first portal clue. Enlighteners, I mean, you really did just give me the one word enlighteners, and I think just the confirmation that there are aliens at the center of the planet doing something, and that there are also whatever these cosmic truths are, the sentience of the portal. I think that directly ties in. So we got that one. The Triskelion DNA, I think, is where you originally got the idea that, yeah, it is being directed towards some ultimate, final form, or at least next form. Okay. That's 1, 2, 3. The crystal ball, the sun inside of your capsule, representing the battery of the world, that directly ties into your plan.
Mm-hmm.
How does... So when your transformation, I guess, was more or less complete, down just after talking with those aliens, and you got the innate understanding that whatever was going on here, at least in a fundamental sense, was a ritualized, read only vaguely understood function taking place that was either being maintained or needs to be maintained by an architect without bias or empathy. How does that relate to what we're doing here?
My suggestion is that we are removing this entire mechanism from this, that the bias,
Okay.
the need for no bias is no longer necessary.
Okay. Yeah, so unplugging the battery, shutting down the portal, it doesn't deal with the cosmic problem, because you really can't do anything about the cosmic problem. But whatever
Right.
equation that is going on up there, you just removed the Earth from.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I can see that. 2, 3, 4, 5. And the last one, the fact that it was being moved into a favorable position. We've already discussed that at length. So you get your full D12.
Yay.
My brain hurts.
Yeah, I know. This game,
There's a lot going on.
this game is a 4 something class in like deep quantum quantum philosophy.
How much of that we bring on ourselves?
All right.
Quite a lot. We can't complain. This is our fault.
Yep. So there was a maximum possible 10 portal clues. Of them, you unlocked 8, and of those 8, you managed to understand 6. So, out of a maximum roll of 1d20 plus 3, which is getting all 10 clues, with the 6, you get a d12. And that is your... this is different from every other role in the game. You don't add anything else to that. Your other skills do not contribute. This is just the portal skill.
Oh.
So, back to Roll20 here. Who would like to go first in the implementation of their plan?
Well,
Diplomacy
I
first
think
or blowing up first?
Do you want to do diplomacy first?
Sure.
I think that makes sense. Okay. Would you like the card first, or would you like to make your roll first?
Are we shuffling the cards, or are we just pulling from the deck as is?
Ooh, good question.
That is a good question. Is there any way I can see how many cards are left in the deck? I don't know if there is, and I'm not going to go searching for it. I know we are probably getting to the very end of the deck.
Yes.
I don't think there's many cards left in here. Unless I am glossing over it, and I've read these pages multiple times, I don't think it says anything about reshuffling the deck. But
Okay.
let me ask you guys: would you rather take your chances on what is left in the pile, or would you like to increase the variability to maximum and just reshuffle the entire deck?
So there's still one king in there, which is unbeatable.
Yes. Well, yeah, but it's all added together, isn't it? So if you've got a king and a 3...
So each of you are only rolling a d12. And they're...
Yeah,
these are
against 2 cards or 1?
Oh,
one
no.
Okay, it's 1 card.
Well, no.
So it's against 1 card.
No, against 2 cards. But those cards aren't added.
Okay. Those cards are not added together. And do we have to be both or 1?
So, okay, let me read this out here. From my side, I draw a number of cards equal to twice the number of players. Players can work together to arrange the cards in pairs as they see fit, with each pair representing a skill check. Ask the players how they plan to close the portal before it becomes unstable. That's everything we just talked about. Each player then describes their scientist's action, rolls the portal skill, and then they set aside the cards that they beat. Players can still mark stress and burn their cards to modify the roll. So I'm going to draw 4 cards.
Excellent.
So actually, I do have to do this first. I'm going to draw 4 cards. Then it's up to you to split them up in pairs of 2. And then, Tal, you're going to roll a d12 versus your 2. The you're going to do the same. Yep. And then we consult. So the 4 cards we have to work with: a queen, a 3. So we got a high and we got a low. A king.
Yep, there's that king.
And a 2. Okay. Queen 3, king 2. So that's 12, 3, 13, 2.
Well, okay.
You need to split them up into 2 pairs that you will roll against, and then each of your results will be will happen independently of each other, and those independent resolutions will, move into the singular ending. The only caveat to that is, if the players collectively beat over half the cards, the expedition's plan is a success. If they do not, the plan ends badly. So of these 4, you need 3 of them.
Okay, awesome. Right, okay, so I can... So let's start off with what we can do to increase our chances, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
So I've got 2 of the same suit.
Right.
So I can burn both of those to get a +1, can't I?
Mm-hmm.
And what can we do with our stress? Because I've got quite a bit of stress going on there.
How much stress do you have?
Well, no, I've got no. I mean, I'm well over.
Yeah.
So I didn't know what can we do in terms of our stress to increase our chances.
Players can still mark stress and burn cards. I know about all of your options for burning cards. This this was the version just before final release, but I don't remember if there was really any. If you could take stress.
Players can mark stress to increase their roll's result by 1 for every point of stress marked.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah.
Page 22.
I see that. Yeah. Something we perhaps didn't utilize as much as we could have.
I did not know about it.
Yeah.
Well, in that case, well, I'm going all in then.
Yeah, what's the why wouldn't you not just pour everything you have into this?
Gonna pour everything I've got into it. Yeah.
That is
1, 2, 3,
that is
4,
the question.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I would effectively get, if I spent all my stress
Yep.
and had none left, I would get plus 10, plus 1. So I would get plus 11 to my roll.
Okay.
As I understand it.
Now, do you want to take a king and a low number, or do you want to take both the highs?
I'll take both the highs.
Okay.
Because I've just got a much better chance, haven't I?
I mean, I can also give up stress, and I mean, I can auto win against these two with stress, if that's what we want to do.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Okay, is that what you want to do? I just use 3 stress. I roll. I get these 2 cards done.
Yep.
Okay. I'm gonna roll
I mean, it would increase your chances, but you'd still need to get a decent roll to get the queen, wouldn't you? Because you've got
I can auto win this, and you can you win that queen if you do the plus 11. You auto win that queen, so we win.
Yes, I do.
And I just have to get rid of 3 stress, I have 2 stress.
Yeah.
I just have to get rid of 2 stress, and I auto win.
I probably should have been stressing you out more these last 2 games.
That is what we would like to do, please.
Okay. Well, the math kind of breaks down at the end of this game because I guess you just auto win now, and happily ever after.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, I can still roll the d12, but I as long as I get 1.
Yeah.
Let's see if he gets a perfect.
There you go. We got 6. I think that means we get all 4.
We got it. Watch, there's some mechanic somewhere that's like, you can't do that.
I knew those upgrades were worth it. I knew all those upgrades were worth it.
That is fair.
Woo.
Okay.
So
well,
it's crazy. Absolutely crazy. I'm sorry.
I'm not saying anything about not being able to do that during this part, so
yeah. Okay. Cool.
kind of anticlimactic, but funny as hell.
Yeah, I'm really sorry. I feel like I've ruined it.
Huh.
Oh my god.
Jack is bewildered.
So sorry, Jack. I'm so sorry.
I mean, I think this is a failure on my part as a GM. Not stressing you guys out enough. And
we didn't use it during the actual journey.
Yeah,
that's the other problem. If we had been using it in the journey, if we knew that was a mechanic throughout the game, this might have come out differently.
Yeah.
Because we would have been using stress to get past rolls.
The problem is, I'm gonna save this for an after show retrospective sort of thing.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to break this down because mechanically, I think this is a little questionable.
You have no no objections from me at all. Seriously. I
Okay.
mean, to be fair, I did get I got like 4 upgrades, didn't I? In terms of kind of playing through. So
Yeah.
I guess I was lucky with a lot of the rolls that let me
Yes.
gain enough cards to upgrade it.
Jack is trying to find something.
I feel so sorry for Jack. I really do.
Honestly, again, if we had known this was a mechanic, our stress levels would be a lot lower than they are now because we would have been using it throughout the game. And we just didn't know that was a mechanic except right now.
Yeah. I'm surprised that didn't make it on the cheat sheet at the end of the document. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, something for next time then, folks at home. remember, you can use stress to add.
Yeah. There we go, folks. I would say if you want to take anything away from this game, do remember you can use stress throughout, and that means you should be stressing your players out.
Yeah.
Oh,
I guess it comes down to the first rule of TTRPGs: read the book. But in my defense, this was like 2 sentences in a square this big on one page.
Hidden away. By the way,
okay. I mean, I don't want to say anything bad about the creator of this game. It is a fantastic game up to this point, and most of this is a failing on my end. But man, did this
I think it's on our end
end
as well because we didn't spot it either to use throughout, so it's our failing as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
100%.
Yeah.
Collective responsibility.
So you both win both cards. The task performed is performed successfully. Dr. Daring.
Yes.
You were able to the both of you were able to make your way back up. This probably takes quite a long time to do. You got to make your way all the way back up. Dr. Daring, I imagine you stay down in the command center of the aliens and begin discussing, as you said, this restart protocol, trying to give them a little bit more context, maybe run them around in circles. You just need to buy time for Dr. Undermoon to get back up to the surface, gather the supplies and the personnel needed to lead a series of strike teams to place precision demolitions, and you are able to do so. Run us, if you would, run us through a montage of what that might look like.
So, Dr. Daring, in his new form, of course, that is quite the surprise when we return back home. A little bit of explanation needed and what's going on with him. But yes, Dr. Daring gets a few of his anthropological buddies as well as some diplomats together to go down to the alien command center. Since if I won only one card, it would have been a distraction. I suggest, since I won both cards, not only did I distract them, but convince them that this was actually the best course of action. And that they actually, the demolition team, which will be taking place soon, is actually assisted by the aliens eventually. And they are joined by them to help destroy this restart protocol.
Okay. So in some small way, your grand design of unification might be taking a step forward anyway, uniting these two communities of human and alien. Okay, I like that. Tal, Dr. Undermoon.
Yes.
Likewise, you get back to the surface and you gather your explosives, set up your teams, coordinate a number of very similar expeditions down to the caustic pool's lair. Please run us through a montage of your own, if you would.
Yeah. So you come down and we can see the bebop that I've left down here has already started to make a geological survey of this whole area, and with the help of the aliens, we've already kind of been able to mark out exact locations where it's going to cause the most damage and drain away as quickly as possible. What's been really helpful is that they've already started to make some inroads with their own equipment to make the process that much quicker. So we're really kind of we're collaboratively working together with them in order to get this done. And it's what you see is this, I guess, harmonizing of humans and aliens coming together to save what is in fact all of their homes. And as it kind of like builds up, you suddenly, it's a very quick process. As soon as like pop, 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 all these kind of holes have been drilled, you just see it really just pour out until there's just small puddles left around. And there's still that sulfurous smell, but this whole area is now empty, completely empty. And you can just see everyone's just the relief on everyone's face. And whether or not we feel a change in terms of this disconnection we're talking about, I don't know if the people with me would necessarily, but I would suggest that certainly myself and Dr. Daring would feel the difference, and probably the aliens that have been working here as well. We would just sense, whether or not it's a subtle sense of quiet or I don't know, but there is definitely a indication we have been successful, that we're all starting to feel.
Okay. So
One quick thing. Dr. Undermoon,
Don't ruin it now for me.
You used all your stress, didn't you?
I did. It was a very
Dear Jack,
stressful time.
do you think that while he's stressing himself out in the center of the world where all of this change is taking place, that I'm not saying a big change, but something marks him, similar to what has been going on with Dr. Daring?
So I was
You are.
I was contemplating moving in a similar direction, but I will not infringe on the bodily autonomy of another player's character. But
I would say that there is a difference. So one of the things you'll notice is that his hair is now shockingly white. Like it's complete mop of just, completely white. And strangely, and probably the only one who, well, maybe the people we've worked with previously would notice this, as well as Dr. Daring, there's a slight air of consideration about him, which no one's really experienced before. They're very used to this brusque, no nonsense kind of person, but they notice that there's just this sense that he's considering other people's thoughts and feelings a little bit. And one of them, just when he says, "Oh, that's an excellent idea," yes, they just like, okay, I don't like that. That is freaking me out. And you could just start to hear these murmurs of, something's doing. Oh, I don't like this.
So at 8 stress, which you would definitely get to, and I was
Yes.
actually getting there. This is what led to the very beginning of Dr. Daring's change. But yes, in the rules it does say you gain a permanent mutation brought on by the cosmic entities beyond the horizon, and your permanent mutation from exposure beyond the horizon is that Dr. Undermoon comes away less of a pompous dick.
Yes, but if you think about like the core person that he is, at his core, he is a pompous dick. That is exactly who he is. So his fundamental core of who he is has changed.
Yeah,
That's a big deal for him.
Yeah, that is a major mutation.
It is. He's developed humanity.
I adore the contrast of your characters there. Okay,
Oh,
but this does lead throughout the entirety of the process. I imagine the accumulation of that stress is over the entire length of time. So you
yeah.
don't really break that final snap at 8+ stress beyond the horizon until the situation is largely resolved. So we're going to fast forward 6 months or so after you solved this problem. You've managed to journey back up to the surface, a few of your new alien friends in tow. There's celebrations across the world for a few days, and good feelings for a few weeks. And I will leave it to both of you, whether you are optimistic or pessimistic about how that would go. But Dr. Daring, what was the ultimate stress you ended at?
Minus another 3, so I would have been at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stress.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think that really changes anything more than you have already changed.
Yeah, no.
But with what we just described with Dr. Undermoon, and really your mind has snapped. By the end of all of this, your mind has snapped just as much as Dr. Daring, but perhaps in a very different way, as you described. But your newfound humanity and compassion is only the tip of that iceberg. On a more global scale, the fraction that had started to split the planet open is still there. You destroyed the command center. Whatever geological actionability the aliens had to perhaps fix that is no more. So the fracture is still there. But the general structural stability of the planet is just fine. I imagine that, well, actually, I will leave that to you to describe. So the fracture is still there, the very massive fracture, probably stretching across an entire continent, kilometers in width. So my final question to the both of you, 6 months later, with your own personal headspace in mind, and how optimistic or pessimistic you are in how humanity would respond to everything that you have revealed to them and the stress of everything that has taken on and the new alien neighbors that they have. I would like the both of you to give us a little fade to sepia final montage of your characters and how they interact with this strange new world.
Go ahead, Tal.
Okay. So you find Dr. Sabastian Undermoon. He's at the end of a wooden pier that kind of feeds out onto the ocean. Wind's kind of blowing his hair. And he's got his eyes closed and he's just taking everything in. And in his hand, he's got something that he always wanted. And it's the Nobel Prize for all the sciences: physics, chemistry, the lot, biology.
It's not a FIFA prize.
He's kind of weighing. Oh, no, it's not. Okay, that as well. And he's kind of weighing it in his hand as he looks out across the ocean. Guess new challenges are ahead now. And there's a little smile on his face as if he's now looking forward to a different kind of challenge in his life. Now, what that's going to be, he's got no real idea. And he starts to walk back along the pier, and there's a family kind of sat there and small child, and bends down and says, "Here you go, kid," and hands him the Nobel Prize and says, "It's always good to dream." And then he walks off and starts to think about how he's going to use the skills he's got to better serve humanity rather than himself.
And
Science is still his passion, but it's no longer about being right. It's about what he can do to make things better for other people.
do you have any final statements of the state of the world and the people you now have this new
He's excited that there's an opportunity for everyone to learn so much, but the nagging doubt that sits at the back of his mind is that this new knowledge and these new things, how will humanity actually react? We don't have a good reputation for embracing difference. And he kind of hopes that the natural disaster that almost occurred will bring people together. So he's optimistic, but he knows they all need to be on the lookout for those actors that will try to use this new world in the wrong way. And that's something they all need to be aware of. They all have a responsibility to the Earth now. And that has to now sit above individual responsibilities.
All right. And with that, Dr. Undermoon, having handed his Nobel Peace Prize to a child, wide-eyed, sparkling, inspiring dreams for a better humanity, we will fade to sepia on Dr. Undermoon. Dr. Daring.
Dr. Daring returns home to his commune in Montana, holding a twin of the Nobel Peace Prize given to him and Dr. Undermoon. As he enters his home, it's a large, expansive building. He, without much thought or interest in it, as he's been mostly just keeping up appearances for the diplomacy between the aliens who now have a nice home close by to his commune, so that he can have that connection, so that any diplomacy that needs to occur between humanity and the aliens can continue. He casts that Nobel Peace Prize haphazardly onto a chair and continues to walk down into the basement of his home, which is now an expansive space. In the center of this expansive space is a large mechanical device in the form of a triskelion. And there are countless aliens and members of the commune working on this device. And he looks over it all with a smile, and one of his children, now an adult, walks up to him and says, "Father, everything's going well. I think it should be done within the next few weeks." Dr. Daring nods, that overly large smile crossing over his face, and says, "The dream of unification is still in progress."
Okay. And with that, we fade to sepia, a father and son, planning whatever they're planning. lit against the backdrop of those three interwoven spirals that make up the triskelion. Fade to sepia, fade to black. At its core. And that is the end of our journey, folks. And a long and wild journey it was. So, since this is the series finale of this show, once again, thank you everybody who is watching, both here live on Twitch and in the future on YouTube. Please feel free to drop comments, theory crafting the show, some of the other possibilities, what you think the portal clue may have been, your own different options, and mock me for completely missing a really important rule of the game.
Well,
But I'm going to try not to stay stuck on that too long, because we really did have a fantastic journey with two of my closest friends here. You guys really told a fantastic tale. I was right there with you guys for most of this. It really is a very different game. At some points, I am just another, co-equal player of the group, and in other times, I try the GM in me desperately trying to claw onto and secure a little section of canon and direction. It's an interesting game. I actually do look forward to doing some sort of discussion on it, but we will have to discuss when we plan on having that discussion. But this was a fantastic game, fantastic show. Despite the weirdness of the finale at the end, I think it really was super cool. We got really existential. We had some fun quantum philosophy debates, and you guys came up with a great plan. And I really like how both of your characters changed towards the end of this journey, and especially how both those characters really did sort of crisscross and now contrast in very different ways with your Fade to Sepia vignettes. So thank you both, Al and the Eye, for joining me. This was a ton of fun, and thank you folks in chat. Stay tuned here on Star Metal Productions. Actually, it's the end of the year, so we are in the process of implementing our shows for next year. That will very likely include more Pokemon. Might include some Daggerheart. Might include some other indie games, one-shots, little mini-series. We're going to have a further production meeting about that and discuss exactly what we're going to get up to, but I do have plans for one-shots and little one-shot, two-shot things for January into February as we get ready for our next big actual production show. So stay tuned for news on that on our Blue Sky, Star Metal Productions. Stay tuned on YouTube for if anything is dropped, any further discussions. And also on Blue Sky, do follow us on Blue Sky, because that is most likely where we're going to be dropping any sort of casting calls and stuff like that. Star Metal Production is always looking for new people to work with and partner with. I would love to bring on more guest GMs. Rain, who just finished up our season 1 pilot season of Pokemon Harmony Road, is a guest GM here. This is the first time he worked with this channel. The first time I believe he's done any sort of actual play streaming, and I've had a blast with him. So I would love to continue that and bring more people not only into our channel but into the fun and stress of running tabletop actual play series and telling stories with friends. So we need guest GMs for other people to wear really heavy hats and have their head explode while having fun. And we also need more friends, new friends, to join us for general casting and casting pools for one-shots and miniseries, and down the line, full, like production series that last 6 months to a year. I have lofty plans. We'll see how far we get with any of them, but the best way you can help us get there is simply by pressing all of those buttons, all the thumbs up and the stars and the plus signs and the bells and the likes and the subscribes, and whatever the algorithm is that gets our AI overlords to move us further and further up the algorithm so that more people can check us out.
Mhm.
But also, just go tell friends. Shout it to the stars. Don't go and do graffiti, because I believe that is illegal in most places. But what you could do is go out and buy a canvas, an actual canvas, and graffiti something on that canvas, a Star Metal Productions Dice Asteroid or something like that. That'd be cool. And then you can just go to random coffee shops and hang them up and leave.
Oh, that'd be brilliant. That'd be the best thing ever.
Actually, I like that
I'd love
plan.
that.
I mean,
that would be amazing.
I got some canvases laying around. I used to paint quite a bit. Huh.
And they never notice.
Yeah.
So, they won't notice if you change things.
Yeah. Something to consider. Anyway, I think that's all the
Amazing.
spiels for my side. You two, I mean, I believe both of your main stuff is here anyway, but please feel free to plug your
Yeah,
and what you
absolutely.
have going on.
So I guess the only other thing is, with this now finished, we've now got 3 series you can watch over on YouTube. So you'll be able to catch Harmony Road with the finale coming to YouTube shortly. This will all be up on YouTube as well, so you'll be able to catch all the story for this. And our first arc, which was Undead Cowboys versus Werewolves. So that's where everything's starting out. So yeah, go in, check them out. And as Jack said, likes, comments, and subscriptions make a huge difference to us. And we just really appreciate anybody that pops along and joins in. Even if you just want to sit and watch and enjoy the shows, we love you all for that.
All right. Any final notes?
Nope. Agreed to all things stated.
Yes. All right. Well,
The dream is unification.
the dream.
No, it's not. No. No unification.
We all have.
I
our
am
own-
not a number.
Well, with that, thank you for joining us throughout the season, throughout the show, throughout all of our different series. Stay tuned for more. Go help us out as best you can, and we will be back next time for whatever it is we decide to get up to in 2026 of Star Metal Productions. Happy Time Zone, folks. Have a good holiday, New Year's, whatever you celebrate. We'll see how. Let's try to kick off 2026. Right. Good night, folks. Be well.